What is going on, guys? My name is Sean Barnard, and today I'm here with bettingaz.com, here to give you a breakdown on Caesars Sportsbook in the state of Arizona. Today, I'm going to take you through the pros and cons of the usage of the app, give you a look at the interface itself, take you through the sign up and deposit process, as well as make sure that there is everything else that you must know about the sportsbook overall. So, before I dive fully in, I just want to recognize bettingaz.com. You can check out this article in article form, more content very similar to what I'm talking about here. So, if you have any specific options or specific questions for what to expect from the sportsbook, you can check out the article on bettingaz.com. Make sure to defer to that, as well as gives a link to go directly to the site and make sure that you're capitalizing on the best possible promotions there. So bettingaz.com does have you covered from start to finish there. But today, I just want to dive specifically into some of the more specific questions and the overall things that you should know going in. So I'm going to begin today by kicking things off by cutting over to CaesarsSportsbook.com, which is, of course, legal in the state of Arizona. The first thing that you're going to want to do when jumping over to this is that you're going to want to create an account. So the way that you do that is go to the top right to this little figure here, and you're going to go to the sign up process here. So when you go through this, uh, you will have to create an account, go through, and you see that little button for promo code there. That is something that I do want to discuss here. Is promotions are the best way to make sure you're setting yourself up for the best potential odds, that minimizing your risk while maximizing your potential earnings. And each sportsbook tends to have the most lucrative offers when it comes to the sign up process. That is another reason to defer to bettingaz.com, which will have you a link to make sure that you're capitalizing on those and make sure you're staying up to date with the most lucrative. While promo codes are just one example of a promotion that is rolled out, they are extremely common. It's something that you should keep an eye on there. And it is very important to, once again, minimize your risk while maximizing your potential earnings. So I'm going to skip past this here and go and log in myself. As far as the sign up process, it is pretty standard compared to the industry and sports books as a whole. That takes about a little less than 10 minutes. I would say you do have to verify your identity, verify your location, nothing out of the normal from what is expected from a sports book, but you can go through the process here. So now that we're in, here's a look at the overall interface. This is what the design of the website is. This is the mobile, the desktop version, but on the phone, it looks pretty similar to this as well. So if you're going to deposit money, of course, as I mentioned, that you do want to capitalize on those promotions and everything that comes along with it, but there is some inherent risk with sports gambling, so you do have to deposit the money of your own. To do that, you go to your account at the top right here, go to that deposit button, and here's going to pop up the options for what you can deposit with. There's the options for online banking, credit and debit card, PayPal, Venmo, ACH e-check. There is a Pay Near Me if you want to use cash, as well as a Caesars Sportsbook and Casino prepaid account card. So those are the main ways there. The minimum for a deposit is $10 on Caesars Sportsbook, so it has to be within that window there. But that is the main thing. That uh, make sure you're dropping in at least $10 in your account so it can go through it and get moving. But that is the basis there. And then once you have some money in your account, you are good to hit the ground running. So let's take a look at some of the expectations, some of the options on the board here at Caesars Sportsbook. As you can see, both on the left-hand side and across the top, there are different options for how to scroll and find the sport that you desire. Let's start with on the left side. Number one, there is a favorites button here, which I like. I think that is a huge pro of the Caesars Sportsbook. It's a little bit customizable, that if you have specific teams or leagues that you like to wager on the most, you can simply add those right to your favorites. So it's right there in front of you. And as you can see, there are some diverse options beyond just your standard NFL, college football, MLB, NBA, all those. We can see Australian rules football, auto racing, boxing, cricket, cycling, darts, football, hockey, the Olympics, rugby, snooker, whatever your needs are, there is a pretty good selection here on Caesars Sportsbook. I will say that is one of the bigger pros of the platform. It is very diverse in the options that they do put forth on the table. Now, in the same breath, you can scroll right across the top if that is more comfortable for you. You can see some of the same options here. There are the NFL, MLB, soccer, NCAA football, golf, etc. So for the most part, it will take you to the same place, but just whatever is more comfortable for you. I also will make the notice of clicking on this boost buttons here, that these are kind of like pre-made parlays or odds boosts that they will give. If that's something that you're interested in, you can jump on these. Those are things worth capitalizing on or worth checking to, at least if there's stuff of value on the table. And those are things that Caesars regularly rotates. Now let's go through and look at some specific wagers here. Let's start off by going over to the NFL here and take a look at what the odds are for this week. So we know the Arizona Cardinals. And by the way, another thing I like here on Caesars Sportsbook is they do have it separated by sport. So if I click the football button here, there is a drop down option, and that's where I jump right to the NFL. So I do like that aspect of things there. There we go. We are in the NFL section. Let's scroll down a little and look at the Arizona Cardinals. So at this point, it is week 5 coming up in the NFL. The Cardinals are facing the Cincinnati Bengals, who have also had their fair share of struggles to start the season. Arizona is 3-point underdogs in the matchup, plus 140 on the money line, and the over-under set at 44.5. Let's say you're a big believer in the Arizona Cardinals. I do like Josh Dobbs. I like the way that he's slinging the football around. You want to jump in on that money line there. You're going to click add it here, and as you can see, it slides right over to the bet slip. So if that's the wager you want to make, you simply type the amount that you want to bet. If you want to put $20 in, the payout is 48, and then you simply click the make wager button right here. So it'd be right underneath this button, and that is how you place a wager. Now, a cooler thing that I want to note is the way that parlays are created. We know parlays are obviously one of the more fun ways to wager. They were very grown in popularity in a massive way. It is a way to get a much bigger payout, but there's also more risk in it as each leg must hit for the bet to cash out. Let's make a parlay for this. And I do like how the Caesars functions for this. So number one, we're going to start with the Cardinals. Keep that plus 140 money line right there. Let's scroll across the NFL. The Eagles versus the Rams at 4.5. I like that. I think the Eagles are starting to find their stride. I'm going to put that minus 4.5 in there. And let's pick another game. Let's go to the 1 o'clock slate. Let's scroll over. How about the Baltimore Ravens? That 3.5-point favorites against the Steelers, minus 190 on the money line. I'm feeling a little unconfident about the spread, but I do think the Ravens are the better team. So I'm going to throw that minus 190 money line in there. So as we can see, it adds it up right there, that there's no guesswork in this. The parlay payout is directly there. So we have the money line for the Arizona Cardinals, Eagles at minus 4.5 spread, and the money line for the Baltimore Ravens that comes to plus 599 odds. And the same exact process here. If you want to put $15 on this, the payout would be 104.90, and you simply click the place bet button right here. So that is how the parlays work. It makes it very easy, and to make it even better, that these are still on your screen as individual bets, so you can jump in. And they also have round robins. This is kind of promoting this for them. A little bit of a different style of wagering there. I'm not going to get into that too much today, but a cool different wagers that it just kind of pre-makes and spits for you there. But you can jump that each of these you can bet individually as well, and they share the screen. So I do like that aspect of things. And another thing that I would like to remind you guys is that these are not just, you don't have to just do one and done, that there are future bets that I personally am a huge fan of if you want something to have a little stake in the game for the length of the entire season. So let's go over to the NFL futures. The Cardinals are a little bit of a long shot here. Let's scroll down and see how they stack up when it comes to the odds. They are the second from the bottom, only above the Chicago Bears when it comes to Super Bowl odds. Let's say you're really a believer in the Arizona Cardinals. Do you think there's going to be a miraculous run by Joshua Dobbs? If you were to put $5 on that, the payout would be $2,005 for the Cardinals to win the Super Bowl. That is not a wager that I would personally recommend for this year, but that is an option that you can do. So you see the Super Bowl odds there, something a little more realistic. Let's jump back. The Super Bowl exacta is pretty cool if you want to pick, the Chiefs versus the 49ers is the highest odds there. We got offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, coaching of the year. Let's say season's most passing yards. So let's scroll down and take a look at this. Patrick Mahomes, the obvious name that pops up. Matthew Stafford has quietly been on a tear this year, but I'm feeling good about Tua. Tua has been off the charts. The Miami Dolphins has been one of the stories of the season, a guy that's in the MVP conversation. Let's say I want to take him to lead the NFL in passing yards this year. Same exact process that you just type your desired wager, say $20 here, and the payout will be $100 there. And you just click the place bet button there. So there is how that works there. Another thing of note that I did want to bring up is, of course, live betting. Live betting has grown in popularity in a major way, and the easiest way to get there is right here on the left side where you click that live betting button. So there is some live baseball going on. The MLB playoffs are now kicking off and in full swing. There's also some soccer being played, some tennis being played. But let's jump into this live betting with the Arizona Diamondbacks and Milwaukee Brewers. So the Brewers, it is the second inning of game 1 of the wild card week. The Brewers holding a 1-0 lead. Arizona Diamonds plus 215 on the money line, plus 1.5 runs on the run line. The over-under moved up to 8.5. I believe it was 8 at the start of this game. That's something I want to jump on, that I do believe in the Arizona Diamondbacks to come back. It's only the top of the second. They got plenty of time, I do believe. And the same exact process. You add it to your bet slip. It pops up right here. $20 wager would pay out $63, and you simply place bet button here. So that is the way that goes. I would recommend live betting from a major standpoint, that I do think that there are times when values pop on the board, which otherwise would not exist. For example, if you're watching and a heavy favorite falls behind early, maybe you can get their spread at like a -1 or a -3 when they entered the game as -17 or something like that. So there are values that do pop up in a way that otherwise would not be the case, at least for that pay. So it is a way to get value there, but you have to be on your toes, that they are constantly changing. I mean, even as we've stood up here, we've seen the Arizona Diamondbacks money line move from +200 to +230. For our sake, it would be a bad thing that we locked it in at +210. But those are things that you constantly got to keep an eye on. At the one swing of the bat, and that line changes greatly. So those are things to keep in mind there. Overall, I would recommend Caesars Sportsbook as a betting platform. That I am a fan of the way that the app's functionality works. As far as breaking it down as a whole, I will give it a 5 out of 5 when it comes to the welcome bonus. These are things that are constantly rotating, and as I reinforce, you should click the link in the description to make sure you're getting their best bang for your buck when creating an account and getting set up. We have a link that will send you directly right there and make sure that you are in good hands there. So that is a 5 out of 5 for the welcome bonus. The payment options, I'll also give a 5 out of 5. Have had no issues. I do believe in there that they have enough variety. Just about all of the common ways are on the table. Sure, they could do a better job of taking a look at some of the more, I guess, surprising outside of the box ways to pay. But the bottom line is, as long as you can get money in your account, that is all that you were hoping for. And Caesars does a nice job of that. The Sportsbook app, I will drop to a 4 out of 5. I think its diversity is amazing, that there's a ton of options for what to wager on, and anything that you really want is there. The thing that I will take back points is I do think at times that the design of things is a little bit messy. It can get a little overwhelming. And there are times where I've been frustrated looking for a specific wager and having a hard time to find it. This I mostly mean for such as like a prop bet that I see somewhere. Those are not always as common on Caesars, but for the most part, that it is still significantly ahead of some of his contenders in this category. But I will give it a 4 out of 5 there. The variety and features, 5 out of 5. As I mentioned, there are some small details as far as what makes Caesars an impressive platform, but it feels like that they've thought of just about everything. Live betting is super easy to find within the app. The early cash outs are readily available. And the same game parlay options are bountiful as well. So you can check those out. I only jumped into the parlay across multiple games in this matchup, but if you want to have multiple wagers in the same game, that is totally fine. And even I would go as far as to say encouraged here on Caesars Sportsbook. And lastly, the customer support, I will also give a 5 out of 5. There's no avoiding the 5-star rating in this category. There's 24/7 support across various channels. When it comes to customer support, Caesars Sportsbook is the one that sets the bar. This is likely what I would consider its biggest differentiating factor in the pro column for what it does best. Is the customer support has been superb for Caesars Sportsbook, which is an awesome thing for them. Obviously, in an ideal world, you don't even need to reach out to customer support, that everything goes naturally. But I will say that when things happen, and unfortunately that is the case in the world that we live in, Caesars has somebody that is there to respond and get things straightened out. So overall, I would recommend using Caesars Sportsbook in the state of Arizona. Thank you guys for tuning in this video. Once again, hit the link in the description to go to bettingaz.com and get even more information on Caesars Sportsbook and everything else you might need in the sportsbook world. Thank you guys for watching, and talk to you next time.